they're just a great metaphor to look at, because we all have that teenager in us that looks for this outside validation and wants that confirmation and is wrestling with decisions. You know, I used to find decisions would just like freak me out. I could not handle decisions until I started to actually find a way to get in that quiet place where I could genuinely ask and also be willing to hear the answer. And just learning like what the difference in that voice that comes, you know, how do I even know that that's that true voice, and where do I feel that in my body? One, the pitch of that voice, or what that voice sounds like, it never says anything. It can be very direct and cutting. You know, it uses, for me, that voice doesn't use extra words. It's always kind. Many people have a different place in their body, but there's a place in your body that you feel it. Yeah. Whereas doubt, or like the opposition, or whatever you want to call it, that wants to sort of challenge and test us, it has a different feeling depending on what our strong sense is, whether it's hearing or a felt sense, or so I think that's a great question for people to start to tune into what that feels and sounds like.
Yeah, and for me at least, it's really subtle as well. Like, even though it can be direct, it's subtle. It's not noisy. So that's why I need the silence to really hear. Like, whereas that agitation feeling is actually that cognitive dissonance or bodily dissonance that's happening, where something's not right. So it's like trying to feel through that feeling.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to describe it. And it can just be nauseating and so anxious to sit in that place, especially when we feel an urgency. And I think part of it is that we feel like that fear of fucking it up. You know, it's like actually a fear of abandoning ourselves. If we make the wrong decision, you know, more often than not, when we choose based on an external piece or a relationship, something that we want to hold on to, we abandon ourselves. And that's like the deepest pain of all. It's the deepest loss. And, you know, we can feel it in our body, the weight of that decision, even though we can't understand it with our mind, because we're not used to choosing what's true, regardless of what consequence it will have. You know, we want to hang on to our attachments. It's a hard weight to be in. And it reminds me of like kia mau, kia tukuna, like what I hold on to and what I give. And that our whole body has this metabolism of constantly, you know, receiving the nourishment and releasing the things that don't serve us. But we confuse that. Like in our mind, we confuse it, and we confuse it in our energy and our emotions. So we often hold on to and carry a lot of things that are old or even dead. And we even carry, you know, people along with us and things that have hurt us. And then we also give ourselves away, or even push away and reject the things that we don't like. That whakatoki of what do I really want to hold in my hands, and what is really time to release, and how do I move through the confusion of that. Even if I'm trying to carry another person and myself, I'm not serving either of us. Like, how can I actually whakamana, uplift everyone else, the other person, that they have their own, you know, that out of the deepest respect for them, they can handle whatever is also true for me.
We had the opportunity in January to watch you mahi and do a session,